today I have with me Dr. Virendra Bangroo. Dr. Virendra Bangroo is the director of the Regional Center of IGNCA at Shri Mata Vaishno Devi University, Katra. And the School of Philosophy and Culture has signed a memorandum of understanding with IGNCA a few years back, and we have the regional center at our university. So, thank you, Virendra ji, for accepting my request at such a
Thank
short.
you.
हाँ, मैं
Thank you.
आपको ज़्यादा
Thank you.
टाइम
So
नहीं
nice
दे
of
पाया,
you.
लेकिन आपने उसके बाद भी जो है मेरा इनविटेशन एक्सेप्ट किया. आई एम वेरी वेरी थैंकफुल टू
My
यू.
pleasure, sir. Indeed, my pleasure. Thank you.
तो वीरेंद्र जी, मुझे एक चीज बताइए. ये इंदिरा गांधी नेशनल सेंटर फॉर आर्ट्स, जिसको हम IGNCA कहते हैं, ये तो एक बहुत प्रीमियर इंस्टीट्यूट है एंड दिल्ली में बेस्ड है. तो ये कब इस्टेब्लिश हुआ और इसके क्या ऑब्जेक्टिव्स हैं?
जी. IGNCA, Indira Gandhi National Centre for the Arts, is a premier art institution in India. It is an autonomous institution organization under Ministry of Culture. The center was launched on 19th November 1985 by late Prime Minister Shri Rajiv Gandhi, and it was established in the memory of late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi. IGNC is visualized as a center encompassing and study and experience of all the arts under one roof. And I used to place arts within the context of natural and human environment. So we have to see it in the context of the art, not in isolation, as is the practice all over in institutions. As I said, they study arts in isolation. So this has to be studied in the proper context. That context, the environment forms the context, and then the human environment that is around it, that has to be studied as such. The fundamental approach of the center is to take up work and both at multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. That and this has to be taken up in order to reach to logical conclusions as well. So IGNC is a research-based organization. It is totally research organization, and outreaches through research publications, then training, cultural activities, performances, and also we are also conducting postgraduate courses, diploma courses, as well as short-term courses also being conducted from time to time.
आप PhDs भी कराते हैं, sir?
No, PhDs are not there, but we have a postgraduate diploma courses and short-term courses. I will talk about detail later.
Okay.
Proceed further. Yes, sir. And talking about objectives of IGNC, sir. What are the main objectives? One of the objectives is to serve as a major resource center for the arts. There are so many art institutions as such. They are doing in their own fields. They are working, but here, as I told you, that we have to take in totality the arts. So this was set up to serve as a major resource center in the arts. Especially, we have both oral and visual research material.
Okay.
Both tangible and intangible aspects of art, they have to be studied under one roof, and a major resource center has to be created. So, another objective is that to undertake research and publication programs of reference works. Ancient texts, they are available with us. Their reference works, glossaries, dictionaries, and encyclopedia concerning the arts and humanities.
Okay.
So different art forms have their own dictionary. They have their own vocabulary, and the vocabulary may be in the classical language, in the regional language. So the work needs to be done to compile all this data and create a database, huge database. So this is a process. This will continue this process of creating these databases. Then to establish a folk art and tribal art study center. That is why we have regional centers. They undertake this work. For tribal studies, we have in Northeast, we have a center. It caters to the Northeast states, and they are doing the research studies over there. And we have also been in touch with various these tribal groups as such, ethnic groups as such, and we are working with ethnic groups all across the India, and in trying to document, then disseminate also. And we also invite them for performances, for workshops. They are also involved in each and every program which we conduct at various levels. Then one of the objectives is to provide a forum for creative and critical dialogue.
Okay.
So this is important. This academic activity which has to be undertaken. So it can be through performances, through exhibitions, multimedia projections, conferences, seminars, symposiums. And this has to be, we have to take diverse art forms into account in this case, and then we can have a dialogue. on these art forms. Then we have to, and important, one of the important objectives also is to promote and form a network at the national and international, these institutions. We are having, networking with institutions across, not only in India but across the world also, with major institutions. And we have been working on so many fronts as like, I will also talk later about it. So these are the primarily the aims which I have discussed and the objectives of IGNCA. Yes, sir.
ओके सर, तो इसका स्ट्रक्चर किस टाइप का होता है? व्हाट इज द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ दिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन?
Yes, yes. Talking about the structure, as I told you, it is an autonomous organization, and this functions under Ministry of Culture. This organization, and when we talk of this organization, on the top of the pyramid, of this organizational structure is the trust. This trust is formed by Government of India, and under this there is an executive body.
ओके
So executive body, they advise and they govern the activities of IGNC. But the administrative head of IGNC is member secretary,
ओके
administrative head. So now member secretary also, he also undertakes academic activities also. Earlier we used to have academic secretary and member secretary. Now we have member secretary holding both the positions
ओके
of IGNC. So coming to the functional units of IGNC, this is very important. So when we talk about headquarters, so there are IGNC has many functional units. There are broadly 9 functional units of IGNC, and each has got its own role to play with IGNC. For example, the biggest the unit is Kalanidhi. Kalanidhi is a multi-form library. It is both print, non-print. It's a huge library. I will come to it later. Then we have Kosha. Kala Kosha is devotes mainly to the study and publication of fundamental texts in Indian languages, as I discussed you earlier regarding this. Then there is a Janapada Sampada. Janapada Sampada, this division, it takes up lifestyle studies, area studies, the study related to tribals, aboriginals, ethnic groups. So this region takes it up. It takes up research, documentation, publication, and dissemination in various forms, producing, making documentaries on these tribes. So then we have Kala Darshana division. This is the executive unit which transforms research and studies into visual form. So in the form of this through exhibitions and through seminars. So this is taken this for wider dissemination. Another platform. This research is taken up, which has been undertaken through documentation, field study, research. So this helps. This Kala Darshana helps in that. Then another interesting thing, another interesting unit in IGNC is cultural informatics.
ओके
This is very interesting. Very interesting, and this unit applies technology tools for cultural preservation and propagation. In this cultural informatics, we have scientists in the field of computer sciences. So they do make these. They do make they do also do a lot of documentation, and then whatever document they do, it is preserved in digital form. So when we preserve in digital form, we do any document in digital form. For the long term preservation, it needs proper preservation. You have to upgrade it from time to time. If you do it in one form, then you have to convert it in another form. You have to update this technology from time to time. So they take up such kind of activities, and also they also undertake multimedia activities. Multimedia. So we have some big projects. I will come to that later. So which they have undertaken, and they have been quite unique projects. And for a single project, it takes years together, and then the result outcome is extraordinary.
ओके
So let me tell you now here again when we are talking about culture response. For example, they for example there is a study on Brideshwara temple.
ओके
Brideshwara temple is in Tamil Nadu. It is a World Heritage Site, a temple built by Raja Raja Chola 1000 years back, and this temple has been studied stone by stone. So there is an architectural study of this temple. Then there is a historical study of this temple, and then there is a study related to painting. There are paintings in the temple and paintings of this Chola dynasty. Then we have paintings of the even the Marathas. They also painted some of the chambers over there. So this study also is there. Then there is the study of Vastu, that is their architectural study. Then there is iconography study. Then there is iconometry study. So all
Okay.
these studies have been put together and a multimedia experience has been created. And there are walkthroughs also. So
Okay.
they're also available in this work which they have done on Videshwara. It is available with us. It is also available online also. And
Mhm.
if you can go through our website, so you
Mhm.
will see, you can explore this temple stone by stone. You can explore.
Mhm.
You can experience of how you enter, how you perceive the whole thing, and what is the meaning and significance of the icons which are placed in different places.
Okay.
So it is actually what happens when we see any sculpture in museum, because the sculpture is detached from its original place. It is being kept in a museum, but
Okay.
then its real meaning lies in a place where it is already placed.
Mhm.
So it really helps us in understanding that why this icon was placed in particular direction.
Mhm.
And then there is another interesting thing with this thing is this temple. This temple, the whole big projects were conceived, and there used to be a text also related to it.
Okay.
Obviously, when you conceive something, you will draw something. There will be drawings. There will be cross sections. They will make it. There will be plans as such, and then there will be study related to iconography, iconometry. So
Mhm.
all these things will be put together, and then this whole projects were conceived, were then taken on.
So this
And
brings me to
they,
a very interesting thing, because I'm a
yes,
little bit inquisitive to know that what kind of
yes,
cultural resources are available and how people, or say scholars, can access to it.
yes, sir, yes, sir. And now coming to another department, this is also very interesting department. This is Adi Drishya department, sir.
Okay.
Adi Drishya department. This is dedicated to the study of prehistoric rock art.
Mhm.
When we see all across India, from Ladakh to Kerala, we see rock art. There are signages, there are figurines drawn, geometrical, human, other forms. They have been drawn on rock shelters. These
Mhm.
rock shelters were used by the prehistoric man,
Mhm.
the early prehistoric man, and there has been migration also going on, during this prehistorical times. So this study is very important to know about the climatic conditions of that particular terrain area, the migration patterns as such, then about the communities, their lifestyle, and their other economic things they were undertaking at that time. So this is very important. So for this thing, this department was created, and they have done the extensive study of all over India. They have done
Mhm.
from Ladakh to Kerala. They have done the extensive study, and they have documented these rock shelters and rock shelters. And there are cliffs also. There, the early man they used to do some painting, and so one of the rock shelter that is at Bhimbetka, Bhopal. So
Yeah.
it has been given status of World Heritage Monument now.
Yeah.
Now this rock art also is being once this get highlighted, and then they also get recognition not only in India but abroad also. So for that thing you have to do documentation, you have to propagate it, you have to disseminate it. Then only it will come in the notice of public.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they are getting misused. So you'll be surprised to know that these rock art sites have been, they have been destroyed for laying for the roads because they were not aware about the importance of these
Mhm.
earliest art forms. So there are people like Wakankar, Professor Wakankar. He did a pioneering job in highlighting these areas, and we have another scholar, uh, Dr. Matpalji. He also documented the rock art sites not only of Madhya Pradesh but also Kumaon belt. So these publications are available, and at the moment, Professor B.L. Malla is heading this rock art department, and he's author of many books on rock art and also on this Kashmir art and iconography. This is a lot of publications. Then another department is conservation lab. Conservation is very important. We see old monuments, old archival records as they need conservation because the thing is that everything has got a life, a lifespan, and to prolong it, we need to keep it in certain temperature control measures have to be taken. There have to be some preventive measures have to be taken to prolong its shelf life, and for that matter, conservation is very important. because the conservation is important for stone objects, for monuments which are lying in the open. They also do need conservation from time to time. On and for example, the growth of lynchens, mosses, they need to be cleaned. Otherwise, they will the layer of stone will be scrapped as. So there are chemical conservation techniques. There are preventive conservation techniques to take care of the monuments. And then coming to the fragile things, paper is very fragile. It also needs conservation. There are paintings, there are documents, there are manuscripts. So they all need conservation. And apart from that, we have this non-print material.
Okay.
For example, we used to have negatives earlier, film negatives. They also need conservation. Otherwise, the negatives the color changes also. The photograph prints also the color tends to change. So there need conservation things are applied there, so as to prolong its shelf life and also arrest any kind of deterioration which takes place due to aging. So aging is a natural process, and things age. Anything which is on this earth, it is aging, and at one point of time, you know, then it gets spoiled, gets curated as such. So this conservation is very important. And in this case, IGNC has set up a conservation lab. It is a big setup over there, and they do conservation of books, manuscripts, paintings, these archival objects which are kept in our archives. IGNC also gives consultants other areas also, museums and libraries also, to take up such kind of work. So then we have the unit is Sutradhara unit division. It is an IGNC. It is the establishment section which supports and coordinates all the activities, which I mentioned of other units. And then one of the another important unit is media center. This media center takes the audiovisual documentation and also their archive. So now earlier we used to have tapes. Now this is all now being done on the digital platform, the documentation. Now the digital platform also it needs to be archived so that the things are not lost and they can be retrieved as and when the data is required. So this is about the units of IGNC, the departments of IGNC at headquarters.
So I was a little bit inquisitive, asking about
Yes.
that what are the cultural resources which are available with IGNCA, and if suppose somebody is interested, so say a research scholar or any person, so how to access those cultural resources?
IGNC has huge cultural resources. So I was fortunate to work in IGNC, and I also taken advantage of the resources over there. So I was heading one of the visual units of IGNC. Let me tell you, visual unit. And in this visual unit, there were more than 1 lakh visuals on Indian art. 1 lakh visuals at one place, and these visuals were on. They were on art, architecture, sculpture, performing arts. And I was fortunate to study this since I was documenting all these things. So documentation is that metadata is created and then the data is entered in computer. So whatever data is available with us, it can be retrieved. So it doesn't take much time as such because everything is tagged. Every image is giving a unique number, and then you enter in the computer. And if you want to retrieve anything, any by name, you can enter the name, the search the name, the number will come, and you can trace that.
Books, we have rare books, and one of the interesting, the collection in this print material is of the is personal collection. It is the personal collection of eminent authors, sir. You'll be surprised to know when I tell you about the names as such. We have the entire library of Professor Smriti Kumar Chatterjee.
Okay.
Yes, entire library is at agency, sir.
So
It comprises.
they have given these things.
They have gifted. Professor Smriti Kumarji was approached and he gifted his entire library to IGNC. It is at IGNC headquarters now at Delhi. His
Oh.
entire library. It's a very specialized library, sir,
Mhm.
because he was a linguist. He was a linguist, and his books exclusive on the linguist studies. So it comprises more than 19,000 volumes of books, which
Mhm.
are there in IGNC. And Professor Rajkumar Chatterjee, he was the first chairman of Sahitya Academy, sir.
Ah.
And he had been with Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore to Southeast Asia. His travel diaries also there. His visits to Southeast Asia,
Mhm.
and the other important collections of Acharya Hazari Prasad Dwivedi.
Ah,
He was
okay.
very eminent writer as such,
Yeah.
eminent writer. His entire personal collections is IGNC. So
Mhm.
because of these collections, so this has added manifold the value of the archives which is in IGNC.
Mhm.
So because of because the addition of these personal collections, and then we have the collection of Thakur Jaidev Singh. You might have heard about him. Thakur Jaidev Singh was a musicologist and a scholar of Indian philosophy, and he has written a number of papers on Kashmir Shaivism also.
Mhm.
Thakur Jaidev Singh.
Mhm.
So then we have collection of Professor Maheshwar Niyog. His collection is there. We have a collection of Krishna Kripalani ji.
Okay.
Krishna Kripalani was close associate of Tagore. I
Mhm.
believe that he married the granddaughter of Gurudev Tagore.
Okay.
Bala he married. So
Mhm.
his collection also is there in IGNC. His personal collection of books and very specialized because every these scholars they specialize in particular discipline and they have the books on their particular discipline and now this has enriched the IGNC library because one can come to agency and study these books so and and take benefit of this collection and we have the collection of this Nalsi Hiramanik. Then there is Lansdane was an art historian and he has also gifted these sculptures also. He was an art historian and also collector of artifacts also. He has gifted his collection. Then we have collection of Dev Murarka also. Dev Murarka, Vinod Sena, and then important collection which graces this collection is of Dr. Kapla Vatsyan.
Ah,
Dr.
okay.
Dr. Yes,
Mhm.
Dr. Kapla Vatsyan was the founder, members of IGNC, and she was academic director as well as member secretary of IGNC.
Mhm.
His contributions immense in the field of art and dissemination of art, and she was one of the founder members of this center.
Mhm.
And also we have the collection of Munish Chandra Joshi he retired as Director General of Oracle of India, and then
Mhm.
after retirement he got an assignment of Member Secretary of IGNCA. So
Mhm.
his personal collections also in IGNC. So apart from that, these collections, we also subscribe to international journals. So there are
Mhm.
more than 400 journals in
Mhm.
IGNC which are subscribed. So at
Mhm.
one place. So there are some journals which only IGNC is subscribing in India.
Mhm.
So they can take benefit, scholars, students, they can take benefit coming to IGNC. And in the non-print material, non-print, because we have both, as I told you, print as well as non-print material. So in
Mhm.
the non-print material, as you know, some 30, 40 years back, the digital technology was not there. And for the archiving of the material, these old documents, manuscripts, microfilm was done. Microfilm and microfiches.
Okay.
Is my voice audible, sir? Is it
Yes.
clear?
Yes,
Huh.
sir. Yes, sir.
Microfilm and microfiche was the medium, for archiving the material.
Mhm.
So it was all celluloid material. So this was exposed, and then the page by page it was exposed the manuscripts, and it was documented. So we have documented 50 centers all over India.
Mhm.
Documentation of 50 centers, 50 Oriental library centers in India. They were documented in microfilm form because this was the only medium available 30 years back.
Mhm.
You'll be surprised to know that even in the digital technology, this is said to be the best method for archiving the material.
Okay.
The reason being that this is the intangible form. Microfilm is the intangible form, not
Mhm.
tangible form, and the digital is the intangible form. You don't know with the click of a button, the whole thing will get wiped out. You never know in case of digital thing. But then but then now we have advanced in the digital technology also. The whole world is advanced, and now what we are doing, we have already done the entire this microfilming which was earlier available. It has been digitized now
Okay.
the entire, and we have more than 3.5 lakh manuscripts with us.
Okay.
3.5 lakh manuscripts in regional languages and various scripts. They are available in IGNC. The
Mhm.
rarest of rare manuscripts. You need as a scholar. You
Mhm.
need not to go to different libraries. You can come to IGNC, sit at one place, and then do your research and study at one place. So this is the advantage. So this was the advantage. So why this was created in order to make resources available at one place, so that the scholars can take benefit at one place. The because the archival material is scattered. We have archives, we have museums, we have art galleries. It is scattered all over India. So the idea was that to document these cultural resources and bring them at one place in order to make it accessible to scholars at one place. So that is why this place, this unit, it's called, this division is called Kala Nidhi. Kala Nidhi. Nidhi is the treasure trove. This is the treasure house of this IGSA, and it has all these collections under one roof. So this coming to this manuscripts, we have manuscripts in different languages, different scripts. In Kashmir, we are having Sharda script. There are few scholars left, to read Sharda nowadays. So the script, it used to be written in Sharda script. We have manuscripts. The earliest reported manuscripts in India, they are from Gilgit, 5th, 6th century AD. And these manuscripts, some of these manuscripts are now preserved in National Archives, Archives, New Delhi. So down south from Tamil Nadu, the earliest the script is Grantha. So we have very few scholars now left, who can read Grantha. Now this Grantha script is available. It is found, on inscriptions, on temple walls, on icons. So this Grantha, this was the script which was used on olden days at ancient times. So then coming to slides, as I told you that we have got more than 1 lakh visuals at one place. 1 lakh visuals. 1 lakh visuals on paintings, miniature paintings, mural paintings, temples, then mosques, tombs. So this documentation has been undertaken by IGNCA, and this is available at one group. Also, we also acquired collection from abroad also. We have, this is the advantage. For example, we have the collection from British Library. You need not to go to British Library. You can come to IGNCA for the British Library holdings. Whether it is manuscripts, we have manuscript collection also, as well as whatever the visuals they are having, their copies are with us, and very good quality copies are with us. Highly scanned copies they are with us in digital format also, as well as in analog format, both analog as well as digital format. The copies are with us, so you can come to IGNCA and you can study the collection over here. And as I told you, this is art, architecture, paintings, then performing arts. We have even the ethnic tribal communities. So there is documentation, and this visual document is available for scholars. And the data, whether it is microfilm, whether it is microfiche or slide or any photograph, whatever is available in IGNCA, it is all catalogued and documented. Each and every frame is documented. So that's why it becomes, the retrieval becomes very easy. Retrieval mechanism. You don't have to go for each and every item. You know the number, and you can identify, you can trace it, you can retrieve it, and also the entire thing is digitized, so it becomes very easy to retrieve the material. And apart from this thing, we have the culture archives. This culture archives is this is in Kalanidhi only, and in this culture archive we have the photographs of eminent photographers. That is there. We have the one of the earliest Indian photographer, Raja Deen Dayal. So he was one of the he was an Indian photographer. We have British photographers also, but he was the Indian photographer. At that time, 100 years back, there used to be huge cameras. A camera were carried on carts, transformed from place to place. And there used to be big glass plate negatives. Glass plate negatives, they were exposed. There was a quite big size glass plate negative. Now in our time there used to be 35 mm negative, 110 negative, but at that time there used to be the big frames, the glass plate negatives, and we're having the cameras, old cameras with us, the glass plate negatives also with us, and the documentation taken by Raja Deen Dayal.
Okay.
Raja Deen Dayal, he was basically from the engineering field, and from field he was from Sardana in Uttar Pradesh, and then he was very fascinated with this photography. Then he set up studio at Bombay and other place, Hyderabad. He was the royal photographer of this Hyderabad, Nawab. He
Mhm.
was the royal photographer. You must have read, no, there used to be royal artists for royal families who used to do miniature painting of the royal families. So here was the royal photographer of royal families. Not only Hyderabad, but he commissioned work for other royal families also, and the beautiful collections of royal families and the monuments taken by Raja Deen Dayal is in IGNC. Apart from that, we have the photographic collection of Sunil Jana that also is with us. So Sunil Jana, he was a industrial photographer from Bengal. So he documented the famine which struck in Bengal. So his documentation is available with us. So we have photographers of Henry Carter Bresson. Henry Carter Bresson, he came to India around 46, 47, around that time he
Mhm.
came. So he documented that particular era. So this documentation is also available with us. Some eminent photographers collection is with us. So, and then apart from that, we have paintings. We have also collection of Anand Kumar Swamy.
Mhm.
Anand Kumar is a renowned Indologist.
Mhm.
So his collection comprises of books, paintings, and other documented things are in with IGNCA. So
Mhm.
quite interesting for study for researchers to
Mhm.
come to IGNCA and to have a look and study. And we have also sculptures. And one of the unique collections in the IGNCA is the documentation of these masks all over India. So
Okay.
मुखोटे
हम्म,
मुखोटे हर त्योहार पर यूज किए जाते हैं,
जी 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 जी।
किए जाते हैं. So we have beautiful masks from Bengal, and
हम्म।
we have Saraikela and other places. We have masks, Bengal, Bihar, and all over India.
हम्म,
So we have masks from Kashmir also. That is there also. They used to use some masks in Band Pathar also. There used to be masks, and in the South also wear masks. We have masks of different material. We have of clay. We have of different materials. And this is one collection which we have collected all these years in IGNC, and there was a gallery dedicated to this mask only. And there is a mask from Uttarakhand. It's very it is used in Raman festival. It is around, it is weighing more than 10-20 kgs masks, and they used to wear 20 kg masks, quite heavy masks. They used to use rituals. So quite interesting stuff, quite interesting artistic, these innovations and artistic impressions taken from all over India. They're in IGNC, and it is for cherish to study. And then we have old records also.
Okay.
You remember we used to have those discs earlier,
Gramophone
spool
records.
tapes, old records, gramophone, spool tapes. So
हम्म,
these also we have of the old masters.
हम्म।
So now we have also them, and they are available in other digital format also. And we
Okay.
have series of great masters with IGNC. So
हम्म,
IGNC has huge cultural resources, and there is a lot of you can say uh, uh, for scholars there is a lot of stuff over there to study and to experience. जी
yes sir, yes sir, yes sir, no problem.
जी
Yes
जी
sir, I
जी.
was also a little bit inquisitive to know that where are the regional centers of IGNCA and what are their roles?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So regional centers, we have 8 regional centers all over India.
Mhm.
Our this office headquarters was earlier at CV Mess, Central Vista Mess. Now it has been shifted to is a temporary shifting which is being undertaken at the moment. It is shifted to Janpath building,
Okay.
and now it will get a permanent place in Jamnagar. It's a
Okay.
big area, and a state of art building is being created where there will be all the facilities. It is
Mhm.
being created, and within 2 years, it will be made functional and will be shifted to Jamnagar. It is near India Gate only. This
Okay.
Jamnagar
Mhm.
house where this building is being created, and various galleries, and it will be with having galleries, auditorium, and other facilities
Mhm.
for the research center and expositions that will be there. So coming to the regional centers, we have regional centers. Earlier, we used to have regional center in Varanasi, Guwahati, and Bangalore. So
Okay.
Bangalore was catering to southern regional center. So the southern region it was catering. Now and Guwahati used to cater to the entire, this northeast. And Varanasi was purely, the- this was devoted for the Sanskrit studies, Sanskrit learning, and also translating the Sanskrit texts, also making glossaries, dictionaries. The center was devoted for. And now we have center coming up at Goa, Baroda, Thrissur, Kerala, Puducherry, and Jammu at Sri Mata Vaishnavi University campus. This office setup, and this now this center which is functioning at from Jammu. So this Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Uttarakhand, and Himachal. So we are studying these regions as such, researching in these regions, and trying to build up, try to build up collaborations with various institutions in order to undertake various works as such. So there is work already has been we have done work on documentation of monuments in all these regions. We have
Mhm.
documentation monuments in Jammu. The old monuments have been documented. Also in Kashmir, in Ladakh, we have covered extensively Ladakh. The remote regions of Ladakh we have covered, and Himachal also we have covered the monuments and the monasteries in the higher reaches, Lahaul, Spiti, Kinnaur, Kaza belt. Those monasteries have been covered, and Uttarakhand also we have covered. Visually, we have documented, and also these documentary films have also been made on various subjects related to these regions. So this is a continuing work and
Yeah,
unending work in this region. Yes, sir.
तो मैं थोड़ा सा ये भी पूछना चाह रहा था कि राइट नाउ व्हाट IGNCA is planning to do, say in next 2 to 5 years, what are the
Yes, sir.
programs which they are going to organize, or what are
Right,
the
sir.
webinars, conferences,
Yes,
or
sir.
other outreach activities which they are planning?
Yes, sir. Sir, actually, basically, this is a purely a research organization,
Hmm.
and the outcome of research need to be reflected somewhere. So it is reflected in the form of, we have publications in book form, in CDs form, documentaries, and then there are performances, there are festivals, which is outcome of the research of a particular area. For example, I did one research on the tribals which are there in Ladakh. So we did a week-long conference because we'd already done the study for 2 3 years. I've been continuously visiting them, building bridges, over there. In fact, no, the communication bridges. In fact, and then the outcome was a week-long program. In this week-long program, we had a seminar,
Okay.
and the seminar, the first time, the villagers they participated in the seminar.
Wow.
Villagers they participated. Now they have started going. They have started going for higher education also. The villagers also, the remotest village, they came. They read academic papers. They deliberated in the seminar also, and then we had their performances recorded there in Delhi, and I also recorded there in Ladakh also. So we
Mhm.
recorded there also, and also people, from Delhi people also, they came to know. They interacted with them, and then we had an interactive session of this tribal group, not only in our center headquarters. We had a full day interaction with Jawaharlal Nehru University.
Okay.
So full day interaction with the faculty and the faculty and students, scholars who are in JNU. So this is how this interactions. This is just one example. So we are doing such kind of things all across India, so that we involve the communities in it. It is not we at most of the time we act as a catalyst also. Catalyst in the sense that, for the promotion, because
Yes.
because because as long as the people from there they get involved, then only it can sustain. So
Mhm.
while doing the documentation, we will do our job. So we may merely come up with the publication, but what about the cultural ethos of that particular? It should survive. There should be continuity in that. So we also do some sort of when study in that also. We involve the locals also over there, so that they also get to know the value of the
Mhm.
heritage things. Also, they also take interest. We have a case study of in Himachal also. So we
Mhm.
we helped we encourage them to set up community museums. Now the
Mhm.
community museum is there, not with the community. When the museum is there, then the tourism comes there. So people come to visit museum. When they come to visit down, the way restaurant has come up, a guest house has come up. So
Mhm.
somehow this is sustaining them. And when they also do performances, they have their own. performances around the year. So then the visitors, so they also participate in that. So they feel that people are having interest in this thing. They're coming to see our culture. So we should maintain this very thing. So this is how we can do also this kind of activities also side by side. Research is fine, but promoting them and giving them a platform also, encouraging them and encouraging them to write papers, publications, because that will be very authentic thing to when we involve the locals in our research, in our study essay. I will give an example. I am writing a book in collaboration, in co-authorship with a person from Himachal, the very from a remote area.
Okay.
And this gentleman, he's a shepherd. He's a shepherd, and he's the main author of my book. Because the thing is that because I'm writing on him
On
that
his
particular region,
his
and he's
understanding.
same there. He has that understanding.
Mm.
He has the understanding of the entire region.
Yeah.
The cultural atlas he has got of the entire region. So this is
Sure.
that is why I thought that he's the person. He has to be author in my publication. So these things really do change, the outlook, and also, and it leads to a proper way as such.
Mm-hmm.
And taking forth this our experiences which we have gathered, gathered all these years. Now, now how in other generation, younger generation, they can take benefit of it is that we are running courses also. So
Okay.
courses are PG diploma courses, and there are short term courses also. And we have, for example, we have PG diploma courses preventive conservation. As
Mm-hmm.
I told you that we have got a lab, and lab our focus is on the conservation asset. And now this conservation also is not much talked subject. In fact, this conservation,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have conservation laboratories, not many conservation laboratories in India. So, for example, in Jammu and Kashmir, we don't have a conservation laboratory.
Mm.
We need more trained people in the conservation field who
Yeah.
can take up this work, in fact. So there is a lot of work. We
Yeah.
have old monuments, we have mural paintings in old monuments.
True.
There need to be a conservation expert who can take up this kind of study and
Mm.
also conserve them. So our monuments are in shambles. We need more and more experts. So whatever expertise we have gained, so that it can be taught, and that's why these courses have been devised, very practical courses, so that they can get the practical hands-on training also to do things. And they work in laboratory. The people, the boys and girls who are selected for these courses, they work there. They full time they do the job, because our work is also going on there, the routine work. So they
Mm.
also get involved. So they have the learning experience, practical learning experience. And we have a course in PG diploma course in Buddhist studies also.
Okay.
This is very interesting. And the Buddhist studies has also, there is a lot of interest for this Buddhist studies, Buddhist philosophy, and Buddhist learning as such. So this is also running in our center. And then we have a specialized course in astrology and paleography.
Okay.
This is very interesting. I will tell you, we have manuscripts from all over India.
Mm.
Manuscripts, I told you, they are in different languages,
Mm.
different scripts. In Kashmir, there used to be Sharda script, and for Sanskrit,
Mm.
it was written in Sharda script,
Mm-hmm.
manuscripts. But there are only few scholars now left.
Mm.
Similarly, as I told about Grantha, so
Mm.
very few scholars left, and there are very few scholars now who can read the inscriptions.
Mm.
We have inscriptions, and inscriptions help us in dating the monument, in recording the history. So, as you know that when the Brahmi was not known, we were not aware about the Mauryan period as such.
Yeah.
This
Very.
is this is through Brahmi that we came to know about the achievements of Ashoka, the king Ashoka, that
Yeah.
his achievements, his role, and his works as such. So these inscriptions are very important. And
Mm.
here, there is in this valley we have got a script yet to be decoded. So
Mm.
now people are coming up with research. Maybe in near future we'll be able to know that what was this civilization all about, what
Mm.
were their beliefs, practices, their history. We don't know at this moment.
Mm.
So So we need to have trained people in these disciplines, because
Yes.
they will help in shaping our future India. In fact, they will really shape. They really help in giving me in firm footing of our this historical data. Then we have PGO diploma in digital library also, digital library and data management. This also is very important. Now we have new tools, new technology, and we
Mhm.
have to keep abreast with the new technology elsewhere also,
Mhm.
and update our students also. Now this also is very important, and now this library science also has become is a very professional course now, involving this computers, digital technology, and all that. Now we have PG diploma in Southeast Asia studies.
Okay.
In our center, I told you about this Kala Kosha division is there, and under Kala Kosha division we have East Asia, West Asia, and Central Asian studies. So they do study on these areas, East Asia, West Asia, and Central Asia. So the scholars, there's exchange program. Then the scholars come, and our scholars, they visit different countries as such, and they do study in their area of specialization. They do study. Then these studies are transformed. Their outcome is transformed into publications from time to time. We have a lot of publications in IGNC on these areas, and especially in the Southeast Asia, this is very important area, and we had links with this from the ancient past. We had the links in this region. So in order to, it is not only studying this region, it is also establishing the links which can be used, to have more cultural ties also. Trade ties can be established on the cultural ties. We can go further ahead in this. The relationship between the two nations can be more. It can be taken further. In fact, so these studies are very important, and these area studies need to be given more impetus, more focus, especially when we talk of these studies of our neighborhood countries. This is very important. And then we have a course on PG diploma course in cultural management also.
Okay.
This is also very important, as you know, in the cultural field also. We have got more than 600 museums in this country.
Mhm.
We have museums, we have archaeological sites, we have archives, we have archives of different states also. So this also all need management. So we need to have management people in this field, so who are trained and who can give best output when they are properly trained. Thank you.
It was really nice because with a very short notice you came up and you told us so much about IGNCA and its work, and I'm pretty sure that it must have been a very benefiting thing for all the people who have seen this and who came to know about IGNCA, that there are so much of I will say resources which are available, and people are
Yes, sir.
running from pillar to post just for
Yes, sir.
finding certain kind of things. If they just go to IGNC, and now since the
Under one roof, everything is available. In fact, for
everything is
scholars,
available, yeah.
yeah,
And also you people have digitized
yes,
so
sir.
many things, so even through internet it is
And
available.
sir, I would like to add here that that scholars or students, whosoever is there,
Hmm.
please go through our website. It is www.ignca.gov.in, and it is loaded with information, sir. So
I
on
will
different
put
aspects of
this link
art,
in the
culture,
description
literature,
as well.
language, etc. And apart from that, we have got the PDF library also with us,
Okay.
the books in PDF forms. So
Hmm.
then you can have our library resources also. You can directly access the library resources and
Oh,
other resources which are there in the agency, and also on to our activities which takes place from time to time in agency. There are a lot of online activities also.
okay.
One can take part in that. Thank
Okay.
you very much, sir.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much, sir. Thank you so much for spending some time with us. Thank you
Pleasure,
so
sir.
much.
Pleasure. Indeed a
Okay,
pleasure.
okay,
Thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you.
Thank you. See you
Welcome.
next.